Hi everybody, I'm Anne Marie, it's Janet, we're the Broads. And I'm not very funny, but you're very funny, and that's what we're talking about today.
Well, thank you.
Female comedians.
You appreciate humor, though.
Oh, I love laughing.
Right, yeah. You
keep me laughing. I mean, honestly,
I try.
I think the foundation of our friendship is the fact that you are so funny. And I'm
so
very
what is
dry.
And the foundation of our friendship is that you laugh at my jokes, which is what every comic wants. That's
comic
like
needs.
Of course it isn't. But I think that, I definitely use humor a lot in my business. I mean, it's not just funny for being funny, it's strategic.
I always thought you should be a stand-up comedian.
That would be the last thing I would ever be.
Because you hate crowds.
I am not. First of all, I'm very shy. I'm very shy. I know, I'm very shy. I don't like to go to parties. I don't like people. And I need acceptance and love. And so being a stand-up comic just set yourself up for, heckling and catcalls and rejection and no laughter, which is, of course, the worst of all. I would rather be heckled than be met with silence. I couldn't do it. I don't have the self-confidence, I guess. And plus, I don't tell jokes. I'm funny, but I don't tell jokes. I don't even know a joke.
It reminds me a lot, I don't know another woman it reminds me of, but it reminds me of Johnny Carson. Shyest man on the face of the earth, and yet he did, 2 hours every night where he entertained people.
And didn't like to go to parties.
Didn't like people.
No.
Hated people. Shy, very shy.
Johnny and I are chips off the old block, I tell you. But this all comes about because of this.
And we loved it.
And this is a fantastic film, but it has brought up the concept of funny women carry a movie? Obviously, yes, but this is one of the first ever. Always we're a sidekick.
Can women be funny is really what it brings up.
Well, can women be funny, and can women make money being funny?
Not if you're asking Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis says there's no such thing as a funny woman.
Yeah, who the... Hello?
I don't think Jerry's that
he's
funny.
lost it, though.
I don't think Jerry's that funny.
No, I think he's slapstick funny, but not funny.
Slapstick, and that was always a male domain. Lucille Ball did some slapstick, and Carol Burnett definitely did some slapstick.
What's interesting is about and we can get back to talking about why it's changed and whatever, but what's interesting is those women who were funny back then, other than, Mae West, who I think was innately funny, and always had a quick response. The Lucille Balls, those
Gracie
who had the Gracie Allens, they had scripts. Yeah. They had writers.
They had male foils. Mae West, you're right. Mae West really was unusual because she was like the first woman that just went out there and was funny on her own. She was funny and bawdy and just great. But Lucy needed Ricky or Ethel or Fred. And of course Gracie needed, her foil with the name of George Burns. And the other issue, which again Mae West kind of goes against this, but the early funny women, the humor was the ditzy broad. Silly,
making fun of themselves. Yeah.
Everyone always rolled their eyes over what Gracie said or Lucy said.
That's
ditzy,
a good point. I hadn't thought of
silly woman. And now it's the smart woman. Yeah. It's the Tina Fey.
And they're in
Kristen
charge. More than that, they're in charge.
Oh yeah.
What I don't understand is why it took until 2000, I think, before there was a head writer who was a woman on SNL.
Well, I think
and
comedy
she's so
has
brilliant.
been a male domain.
Brilliant, Tina
it has just been a male domain. If you look at the writers for the Johnny Carson show, they were all men. I mean, really, the occasional Joan Rivers, the occasional Phyllis Diller.
I think is one of the funniest, innately funny people on and she reminds me a lot of you.
Thank you.
She's just so clever. I think she's so clever. Yeah. But she was, in the beginning, I don't think she was accepted, because she was different.
Right, I think that was not about the humor, though. It was just more about the gay.
What was interesting, she wasn't judged on her humor. She wasn't judged on her brain. She was judged on other things, which is such a shame, and she's so funny.
Well, her time has come.
Yes,
her time has come. And it's great stuff, but it is... How hard must it have been to be like, a Moms Mabley or a Phyllis Diller? Those women had such cojones to be able to get out there in this male world, to be, how much more different. I always think about, and you too, I would imagine in your youth, watching that Ed Sullivan show. Comedian after comedian after comedian, then an occasional, Phyllis Diller.
Like the token.
The token woman gets thrown in. Always funny.
But she was funny, but she was like shocking, not
they had to go
funny.
out of their way to
with
be a
the
bit
eyelashes
over the top.
up to here, and it was kind of odd.
It must
Nora
have been
Ephron has a good line. Well, one of the articles, which are one of our new producers, Colleen, and our other producer, Berta, who is starting today. Welcome aboard, Berta. We hope you stick around for a little while. Colleen found us a wonderful article that was written by Vanity Fair, produced for Vanity Fair.
It was a cover story.
Annie Leibovitz took the photos. That's Lucy. What can I say? We're so sorry.
Not bald.
No
comedian are Lucy.
But Nora Ephron is quoted in the article as saying, "I think lunch has arrived." I think that's what that's about.
Which means we have to wrap it up. We love you, but lunch
what's
is
our time? Do we have a time count? Nora Ephron says there's no question that there are a million more funny women than there used to be. But she says the reason that we're paying attention, everything has more women now. So it's every industry and every, I mean, more women. Women are everywhere now. Even though they were everywhere then, but they weren't recognized. But she says the reason there are more women comedians today is because of one word.
Cable.
There are more hours to fill, so they just finally gave in and said, "Okay, we'll try the women."
Well, it's true. Someone like a Sarah Silverman or a Chelsea Handler
right,
never would have gotten a shot in traditional television. So once the HBOs and the MTVs came on the scene and would allow for more ribald kind of humor, those women got their shot, and they're doing pretty well, I might add. I think that woman, the Chelseas, and I could be wrong, but the Chelseas
are a little over the top for me.
Well, I also think that's the kind of humor that really threatens a man. I really do.
And Tina Fey,
she's a safer kind of humor
because she sort of makes fun of herself all the time.
She does,
although Chelsea does too.
And she takes on personas like, of course, the Sarah Palin stuff.
I believe that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of any foreign policy. And I can see Russia from my house. I don't agree with the Bush doctrine. I don't know what that is.
And Kristen Wiig. Bridesmaids has, from what I've been reading, it's like 50-50. You would think, oh my God, that's a chick flick. Only women are going to go to that thing.
When I went
men
to see
loving
it,
this
half
thing.
the audience was men.
Yeah.
I was really taken aback by that.
So that says a lot,
because it's very funny. It's a very clever movie.
Yeah, and it's not funny woman. It's not female humor. It's just funny, and it's about relationships, and it could be men as much as it was
she's
women.
over the top, and talk about Boomer Broad. So,
Betty.
One of the originals. And
that whole crew.
And
How
she's
about
so
the Golden
clever.
Girls?
Yeah.
That whole crew
was hysterical.
Every last one of them.
Every one of them.
And that era started to allow for the sitcom woman. Carol Burnett, I think, opened a lot of doors back in the day. But as I say, that must have been a really hard time for women to get their breaks in comedy because men just didn't want us. It's like the world of sports.
They didn't want us in a lot of
sports
things,
broadcasting. Stay back.
And well, you know that.
Yeah, and it's like you're just not allowed. This is a private club. And I think that's a lot how, and occasionally a woman would push her way through the door, but now, honey, those doors are open. We are living in your living rooms right now. Get out of our way. And I think it's great.
We're here to stay.
I'm glad Bridesmaids really has brought this issue to people's attention because women are funny, and the fact that we can be funny and make money for a movie studio or a television network means you'll be seeing a lot more of us, and this is a good thing.
I also want you to do some, sort of some stand-up on one of our shows.
That won't be happening, but thank you. Okay.
We want to say also, may I also say, congratulations to your brother and sister-in-law.
Yes,
how
we'll be mad at you for bringing it up, but yes,
they're doing great.
They're doing great.
Fabulous.
Everybody's got kidneys are working. Everybody's peeing. It's all good. Yay. All right, everybody.
See what I mean? See what I mean? I rest my case. Have a great week.